Hello and welcome to our Norwegian MGP review show. Yes, the national finals may be going on up and down Europe at the moment. We've got Norway, Lithuania and Sweden. But tonight we are focusing purely on Norway. This is a Melfest spoiler-free zone. This is a Lithuania spoiler-free zone. And our panelists haven't seen either. So just make sure, okay, you don't spoil them as well. Now, obviously, what have we got going on? Well, in the chat, we've got Elliot. He's going to be sat there taking your comments this evening, making sure everything's going. Elliot, you okay?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, ready to talk about Norway. So yeah, I'm in the chat room. Tell us what you think, what you want to ask the panel. But anything Sweden or Lithuania related, you won't get it here. I'm like an eagle. I will see it.
Hey. Also, we've got, as usual, our menti.com vote going on, and it's 10, 78, 53, 6. Let us know who you think should have gone through to the grand final tonight. Should it have been Kim, who did win? It's not an MGP spoiler-free zone, people. This is the one we're talking about. But let's face it, this did have it all. This had stadium schlager, Northern Lights, an emotional ballad, circus variety, and an auto-finalist. This was the full package of an MGP heat. So let's meet the panelists and dive straight in. Tonight, giving their views, we've got the lovely Joe. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening. Hello, god kväll.
Good evening, Alina.
Good evening. Forgot the mute button thing, like acknowledge me.
Oh, good evening to Marios.
Good kväll, kalispera, hello.
And also good evening to Ian and Donna.
Good evening all.
Evening.
God kväll.
Okay, let's dive straight in. So the first duel of the night, it was Pages versus Out-the-Die. Now, let's actually talk about the first song, Pages. Let's go straight in. I'm going to go to Ian and Donna. What did we make of Pages?
Ooh, well, I actually quite like the way it was staged. Yeah, it really lifted it nicely for me. Her vocal was not so good in that heat, I've got to say. At the beginning, I felt she was quite exposed as she starts. But as soon as the backing vocals kicked in, it really brought her up. So they did well in the end, but it wasn't the best start. I did like the staging though. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the staging was really nice. It wasn't too fussy either, which is a fault with some of these. But yeah, it was nice. And I did like the fact that the Sami part of it seemed more prominent in the live version. On the recorded version, it seemed very in the background. It was much more prominent, much more part of the song, which was nice. Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, Joe, I know you were a fan of this song. What did you think of the staging? Because we did say it could be Northern, or you did say, I wasn't here last night. We did say it could be Northern Lights-esque.
Yeah, I was quite disappointed because I actually thought it would have something in the background. Instead, we sort of got quite a plain staging with a few backing singers, dancers, etc., didn't we? I did like the way that he and her were staged separate from each other. They were standing separate, and so that you'd see her singing, and then it panned out to him for the Sami. So I did like that, and I have to say the choruses were amazing. The song, the way they were sung, those choruses, he really lifted her up in those bits. And it's just a shame that that she didn't sing that a little bit better. It would have been good.
Yeah. Alina, what did you make of the start of this song? Because when the song started, I have to admit, I had to do a double take with my ears because I wasn't entirely sure if she was, how can we put this, on point.
She lost me from the very first moments. Like, I had high hopes for it, but it didn't reveal it it didn't bring it for me. Yeah. Like, the staging was Corona proof. I can say that. Like, that was a meter and a half. But yeah, Even when she was performing, I even checked my phone, so that's never a good sign.
Now, did any of the panelists spot? Because I noticed over on the right-hand side of the screen, there was, and I wish I'd taken a screenshot of it, there was almost like a dancer who was substantially older than everyone else, who's clearly living his best life, just kind of dancing at the side. Did anyone else spot that? Because, Elliot, what did you make of it?
Oh, it was great, wasn't it? I did, like, the second time I said, yeah, like, you just need something like that, just as a little added touch, just a bit of, like, happiness and joy. Just like, oh, look at him having the time of his life. And, you know, that's what you need, especially in times like this. That bit was great.
Now, what are the chat rooms saying about Paige's?
The chat room are kind of in agreement with us. They're saying, like, the vocal wasn't great. Like, Annie said she thinks it was nerves. And, yeah, that just seems to be the running theme. That, like, she got off to a bad start and then didn't really catch it feels like. So, but, yeah, that seems a general consensus. Good song, shame about the live performance vocally.
Now, guys, don't forget, if you're not involved in the chat and you are watching, get to the chat now. Elliot's monitoring it all night. And whilst you're there, don't forget to ding-a-dong the bell, click the like and subscribe buttons. Or if you don't like us, give us a dislike. We like your feedback. Anyway, we just like people listening and watching the content. Now, song 2 in this was Out to Die. Now, I'm going straight to Marios for this one. What did you think?
Very good presentation. Bit dated, but there was nothing wrong with that. I think the guys were just having loads of fun. It's like you just put them together. They had a few drinks and started singing. Staging was very good. They seemed very free-spirited. I think it should have gone through. They deserve to go through. I'd like to say something, though, that we're on week 4 now. I mean, I'm beginning to get a bit, not tired, but I think we have enough good songs that they could actually pick a really good song to go to Rotterdam. I mean, as weeks go on, we're getting more and more better songs. And I feel like, you know, I think that even if this was the last semi now, and we had a final in 10 days, with the wild card in the middle, I mean, that would be enough. So, but as for this song, it was a really good song, and it should have gone through, definitely.
Do you know what? You are someone after my own heart with that, because let's face it, I was there partying away on the sofa when this was on. I was absolutely gutted we didn't get to hear it twice. Absolutely brilliant song. I know, or I hope, I have a kindred spirit in this, in the lovely Joe, because we were all over Ziguba last year as well.
Oh, don't you know, we do love our I was gonna say Norwegian schlager, but it's not really, is it? Norwegian folky type music. I do. I loved it, and for me, it should have gone through. I was like enjoying every second, enjoying the fact that they were enjoying every second, and they were laughing along with it, and they had a blast out there, didn't they? They really did, and it just brought that back. And you picked it up first, Tom. That staging with those I suppose like the made up audience for their staging in the background was absolute genius, wasn't it? Genius. Because they needed that. They needed that audience to really get them going.
It was, yeah, that to me was totally and utterly on point. And you know what, Joe, just for you, because we're going to revive this, and I'm just going to put a banner up on the screen, just because last year we had Justice for Ziguba. There we go. There it is. If you agree with us, please just put the hashtag into the chat for us. Okay, that's what we want. Okay.
Look how amazing they are. They should have gone through.
They were clearly living their best life on that. I'm going to go to Ian and Donna on this. Do you reckon that? I mean, what effect do you think that live audience had, or say a live audience around the staging?
I actually really liked it. I thought it was a really nice touch. Yeah, it just gave it a lift, didn't it? I don't know if it went the whole way round so they could properly see it themselves, but certainly for the cameras it worked. Felt like it was part of it, you know. It was nice.
Yeah, they were clearly enjoying themselves.
aye.
Although it was a little bit dangerously close to if anybody's ever done like a high school like talent show or something, usually at the end the male teachers get trotted out to do their turn. It's a little bit close to that.
Oh, it was, but at the same.
But they were having such a ball. It was, that enthusiasm was just brilliant.
If you just added Kettle into it as well, you'd have had the perfect lineup.
Hey, there we go. Words. I cannot come up with enough fantastic words to describe how much I purely loved that song. It's straight on my playlist and will give me something to whinge and moan about probably right the way through till next year. As far as I'm concerned, it should be a double A side release with Shall I Do, which should have made it through last year as well. Now, Elliot, what are they saying in the chat room about this one?
Oh, they're having a great time. Like I said, Ali said, I voted for them, but not going to expect it to be. Gustav's being a bit meaty and got a cover band from them, but, he's just being Gustav. But yeah, for them folks a bit, yeah, it was great. Who doesn't love a band who are very self-aware and just having fun? And, that other boy band, man band, whatever you want to call them, are now singing in English, so this is now the perfect song to have as a wildcard, because at the minute, we've got no songs in Norwegian in the final, bar Tix. But we need this sort of like happy, folksy Norwegian song in the final, so I think they've got that wildcard at the minute in my mind. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, because going into it, I didn't enjoy this song, but seeing it live, it put a smile on my face for 3 minutes. So they know how to win over an audience.
That's it. Even if the audience is just virtually pasted across the background as well. Now, let's go to my panel. And guys in the chat, do comment on this as well. We're going to sweep around the panel. Did the right song actually go through to the gold final this evening? Let's start with Alina. Should it have been Pages, or should have Out to Die had the chance to go through?
I would love Out to Die, but Pages was it was expected for me. Like, also it was that Sami day, so yeah, no surprise there.
Okay, let's go to Marios.
Out to Die. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, Ian and Donna.
Ooh, it's a tricky one. I think this presentation of Pages was that bit slicker. Out to Die was a little bit loose. Probably wouldn't have been as good if it had gone through Eurovision. So
I got more enjoyment from All to Die.
Yes, yeah.
Overall, I just thought her vocal was too dodgy for me, but I preferred their Paige's staging. So it's a kind of half with me, to be honest. I still think probably All to Die should have gone through.
Yeah, I would deal with them going through All to Die.
Ooh. So far, it's a 3-1 lead. Let's go up to Joe. Who should have got through? Now, I know these were both your favourites, so this was your final duel for you, but who should have gone through?
Out to Die, yeah. I mean, on singing alone, to be honest, Out to Die should have got that one. And I agree with the staging to a point, but I do think, as far as their staging goes, it was just meant to be fun. That's what they wanted to do, and that's what they got. So it should have been them, Out to Die.
Okay, and obviously, it might not come as a shock. I'm casting my vote this evening. I'm casting it for Out to Die. Elliot, where does your vote go? Where does the chat room's vote go?
My vote goes for Out to Die, because I always say, first and foremost, no matter how good your staging or presentation is, if your vocal isn't there, that kills it instantly, and Out to Die were the better singers, so they should have gone through. The chat room was actually quite split. Annie is saying the old boy band should have gone through. that comment alone is brilliant.
Striking a blow for the middle age.
We've got another vote there. Gustav is saying that the right song went through. ESC Manga said he expected Miriam and Kim to be the last two. And one last vote. Thomas saying the boy band or man band should have won. So quite even, but I think Out to Die did just edge it in the chat room as well. So.
Hey, so do you know what? We had really close votes last week. This week, clean sweep. Out to Die should have actually made it through. Love everyone. Gustav, you're going off the Christmas card list. I think that's all I'm saying to Gustav in the chat. Now, don't forget, the vote is open. Who do you think should have actually qualified for the grand final in 2 weeks' time? Go to menti.com. The code is 1078 53.6. It's running across the bottom of the screen as well, just in case you forget it. Okay, go and let us know what you think. And the vote gets revealed at the end of the show. Now, Duel 2. This was My Lonely Voice versus Circus. I think this was possibly the stronger of the duels because I think there was more of a contrast to it. But let's go straight into Gustav. We love you, really. Let's go straight into Kim and My Lovely Voice. I'm going to go straight to Alina. What did you think of Kim's song, and what did you think of the performance?
I loved it. Like, loved it. If I would be there, I would be crying my eyes out. Like, ugly crying. But oh, it was so good. And I even sent it to my boyfriend, and he was like, yeah, that remind me of that song, Loving You Losing Game. And I was like, yeah, Duncan, duh. So yeah, that says enough for me. It's gold. Like, Norway has gold with that.
Hey, let's go to Elliot on this one. Let's get your views in early this time.
Yeah, I said last night I couldn't see an outcome where he wasn't the one who would win, and he completely proved that tonight. Like, this was amazing, and on a pure vocal point of view, probably the best we've heard all semi-final. If there is one contender coming out of the semi-final so far, I think it is Kim. Like, this performance was brilliant. There wasn't much to the staging, but it didn't need much. I would have personally got rid of the dancer. Again, I kind of get why he was there and with the lyrics, but wasn't needed, and I was slightly worried he's going to slip and just go flying off the, like, beaded strings he had, and yeah. I don't think he needed it. I think Kim just needs to perform it with his voice, because he proved he can just do it. Like, this was amazing, and, you know, yeah, best performance of the semi-finals thus far so far, and I'm a huge Rayleigh fan, so that is high praise indeed for me. So yeah, I think this is the contender to win it, because he's the only male ballad so far. He's got a real chance to win.
Oh, that's fighting talk. Absolute fighting talk there. Let's go to, in actual fact, let's go straight across to Joe, actually, on this.
I'm still not 100% convinced. I certainly don't think he's going to win. Because, I mean, as lovely as a singer as he is, and he's a really good singer, and I think he'll do really well. I'm not 100% convinced personally at all that he's going to sort of sweep MGP when there are so many other good songs in that competition, and we've yet to hear Elaine Alexander as well. So I wouldn't talk about that too early. As far as his performance goes, yeah, he sang out the water, didn't he? As much as I'm not a fan of the song personally, but he sang it really well. He really did, and it's growing on me. It really is, and that performance, yeah, was stunning.
Joe obviously offering that cautionary note. Now, obviously, long-time viewers may know Joe is a big fan of Moreland. Moreland may have wrote Rain Alexander's song, which is coming up on the rails next week. And so, do you know what, Joe? Quite rightly there, reserving judgment. Now, this was up against Royanne and Circus. I thought this had a almost Greatest Showman Moulin Rouge, total and utter fantastic performance staging to it. Let's go to Marios. What did you think?
I have to disagree. I think this was a complete wreck. Miley Cyrus should send somebody to shoot her. I think this was just awful. From the vocal, the presentation, her stylist should be fired. It was too busy and too loud. And I mean, I couldn't stand it after 20 seconds. And I never liked this song anyway. But I think that it stood no chance. And because we had Witchwoods last week, which obviously won that semi, but it doesn't fall in the same category. It doesn't even go close. And I'm glad it's out of the competition.
Well, technically, and I hate to break it to you, Marios, it's not out of the competition yet. Norway's
Well, you know what
wildcard
I mean.
round is next Monday, 15th.
Big,
It could
yeah, I
it
know,
could
dude.
smash through some of those fantastic songs we've seen and sneak up on the rails there. 1 second, just so we're clear on where my vote's going. There we go. Now, Ian and Donna, let's go across to you guys on this one.
Oh, well, it wasn't the car crash that I thought it was going to be, but I don't like her vocal. It's a style that anybody who's seen me review on this knows I'm just not keen on that style of music whatsoever. And this tune reminded me so much of Witchwood's that I thought, that did it so much better. So much better. Staging-wise, they couldn't have asked for more, really. They kind of gave it as much as they could without adding any more fireworks and video wall. It actually, it wasn't a bad presentation. But yeah, it was doing nothing for me at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a comparison with Greatest Showman and Moulin Rouge, but it's a little bit kind of Poundland, Moulin Rouge, unfortunately.
And to think that film is actually 20 years old. It's sold in Poundland as well now.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's shocking. It'll still be much better than Poundland.
No, I think they gave it a good go. I was never that keen on the song to start with, or vocal, but they gave it a good shot. And
yeah, she's very pretty. She brought the sass, which if you'd have put her actually without that vocal into Witchwoods and give it the licks, then that might have worked. The two between them actually could have done quite well. But who knows?
I mean, I'm gonna throw this out. So the comparison's obviously been made between this and Witchwoods. And I'm gonna throw this out. I'm gonna throw it to Alina, and then I might throw it back to Ian and Donna as well. If Circus had been placed in a heat prior to Witchwoods, so if you'd have heard this one first and had the performance of this one first, would everyone, when Witchwoods came along, turned around and gone, well, this isn't as good as Circus? Is it a case of that we just feel like we've heard it all before?
Not for me. Like, Circus is, like, for me, bad. Witchwoods is, like, not a toilet break song. But Circus is a toilet break song. Let's be honest. Like,
damning with faint praise. I'm going to go to Ian and Donna on this one as well, because their facial expressions have been brilliant.
Yeah, sorry. It's an absolute no. I mean, if I'd have heard Witchwoods, I'd have gone, that's how they should have done it for Circus. You know what I mean? It'll always be the better one of the two. Again, the vocal style is just not my bag. And the lyrics are always a lot more fun in Witchwoods anyway.
Yeah, Witchwoods has a lighter touch to it and everything. I think it just works better in that sort of quirky category. It just does it that bit better.
Yes,
I think so. Even if we turn the other way around, I think we'd still be taking Witchwood as being the better one. For
me, it would be the debate as to who is my last place. Is it now Psycho or is it now Circus?
How could you even put Psycho in the same category? That's what I want to know. Obviously, it's no longer my favourite to get the wild card, but I'm just saying, it's up there for me. Not for a lot of people, though. I have to admit, I am on my own, as per usual, with some of my musical choices. Now, whilst the panel quickly make up their mind, I don't think it's going to take them too long, about which one they think should have gone through to the gold final. Let's go to Elliot. What's going on in the chat room?
The chat room, there's not a lot of love for Circus, I'm afraid. Gustav is still saying that Witchwood is better than Circus and saying we should chop up some boys. I think that's illegal, Gustav. I wouldn't recommend it. But he's also saying that Donna is a genius, so... Annie is saying, like, she would have picked either, so it's kind of like... and then said, it was a show, but not the greatest show, man. So... And then Ian comes with an interesting point with the staging may have been interesting, but the song is still nothing to write home about. And I think that's its biggest pitfall, I guess. Like, the song still is the same song. you can only do so much staging. And the thing that bothered me was it was more of a freak show than a circus. Yes, you have like a freak show tent at a circus, but like where was the woman on stilts? Where was someone juggling fire? Like other elements of a circus. And I think for her, you said about the sass, but she should have also been like walking or dancing double time to the music. So she was adding another layer on top of everything, and that would have looked quite interesting. But she was struggling with her breathing as it was, and it was a shame. And also, burn the wig. That wig was awful, and that's what distracted me for like the first minute. Did not like the blonde wig.
You know what, Elliot? All I can think of now is that next year, someone on the back of that comment is going to phone you up and go, "We want you to choreograph Rianne's entry for MGP 2022."
I will gladly do it.
I think, you know, guys, if you're watching, you know, he's contactable. I'm his manager, so I'll be taking a little fee off the top of that. Now, panel, who do you think should have gone through? Did Kim deserve his place in the final, or should Rianne have gone? I'm not going to lie. I'm looking for a clean sweep. Alina?
Kim, for sure.
Marios?
Definitely Kim. Can I just say something, because I didn't get to say anything about Kim? I just want to say that the studio cut, I mean, compared to the live was just better than the studio cut. This is absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing.
Hey, thank you very much. Ian and Donna?
Kim, without a doubt.
Absolutely, definitely Kim.
Joe?
Kim.
Elliot?
Kim, no question.
To be fair, my vote goes for Kim. I think that's a total clean sweep, isn't it, across the board? And I can see, Elliot, even without going to you in the chat room, I know that there is a clean sweep going across there. Now, we're going to bring things down just slightly. In a moment, we're going to be looking at Alt Peterson's performance of World on Fire, but everyone in the Eurovision world was very sad to hear news today of Ersta Klose, who passed away from leukemia at the age of 29 yesterday. Represented Hungary in 2018 as the front runner of the band AWS, with the song translated into English Goodbye Summer, but Bizlat Na. Now, obviously, our thoughts and condolences go to his friends and family at this time. And I know that some of our panelists actually had the pleasure of meeting him on various Eurovision events, as we do. And I'm going to go across to Joe, who seems to have frozen at exactly the wrong moment in time at this point in time.
No, she's there.
Oh, she's there. Joe.
You froze on me.
There we go.
I was still getting the introduction bits. Yeah, it's weird, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I remember him. I met him in Lisbon, and I also met him at Eurovision in concert. So he was sort of at the bar by himself at the after party, and so Martin, who's one of our guests, usually he comes. Him and I, we both went up and had to chat to him, and he was really funny. He was just a lovely guy. Wanted selfies with us, sort of pulling faces, which we got, and and just had a really good chat. He was just lovely. The performance was amazing on the night as well. So yeah, and of course in Lisbon, I met him there as well with the whole group. They walked around with a light because it's getting quite dark. So they walked around with a lamp so that all the people could get their selfies and their autographs with the light. So it was just that little lovely caring attitude he had, and yeah, really gutted and very sad today, I have to say, over it. Lovely bloke.
Oh. And I think Alina as well. I know you were a fan of the Hungarian performance in 2018.
I was. Like, that was like something Eurovision needed at that time. Like a hard, heavy song, and then jumping into the crowd. Like, it was amazing. Like, I still remember there was a fan, like, total fangirl, crazy about him, screaming the entire show. Oh, it was amazing.
It's tragic. And our thoughts are with Ursa's family and friends at this time. And do you know what? I think, maybe tonight, I think I'll be playing Wisla Na once I finish catching up with all the finals that have gone on tonight, and just remembering the fun that they had in that. Now, let's talk about Norway's auto-finalist. Arnt Peterson, World on Fire. Man dressed in red, I think, is what my notes said about this. Going through automatically to the final in 2 weeks' time. Let's go across to... Who haven't I gone across to first? I think I've almost gone to everyone first. Let's go to Marios. There we go. What did you think of Arnt Peterson's auto-qualifier?
Where were the dancers? I mean, this is a song that needs dancers. What was the thing with the microphone? That was weird. Good song, I have to say. I mean, but I didn't like that he was alone on stage. The red was not good with the lights behind. Stu last night made a comment about he looks a bit like Eric Sade, and I saw that actually tonight in his mannerisms as well when he was talking later on. I don't think this is going to go. I think, as I said last night, middle of the road, somewhere in the middle, but it won't have any impact. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Elliot.
Yeah, it was just, very, very red. And the thing that annoyed me the most is that the two reds clashed from his trousers and his jacket. Like, that bugged me first and foremost. And the song is fine, but it needed something to lift it live, and there wasn't. And the song's World on Fire, so I expected fire. I expected some sort of pyro. I expected dancers. He's very charismatic on stage, I'll give him that. He did sell the song quite well, but... I think there needs to be dancers or something, but obviously this can change. I remember last year Sondre performed on his own in the presentation, and then he had backing dancers for the final. So it can change, but I do think it does need to add little things in. Vocally, he sounded absolutely fine though. There's nothing wrong with his voice, and I give him that. But the song just needs something to make it stand out a bit more in 2 weeks' time, I think, and maybe don't have a completely red backdrop when you're in completely red yourself.
Do you know what this put me in mind of? And I'm going to go to Joe on this, but what it put me in mind of was a less obvious version of Pink Jacket from last year, because this guy was all in red. It's like we've got an upgrade. Joe, what do you reckon?
Go from pink to red. Do you know, I might be the only one that the red did not bother me in the absolute slightest. It could have been all red. All I was thinking about was, okay, let's see if this song is any good. Let's see if it's any good live. I still think it's very middle of the road. I can't make my mind up about it. I mean, he's a nice looking guy and a good good singer, but it's going to get lost. I think I said this yesterday. It is so going to get lost in all of those great songs in the final, with more great songs to come. And I do think it's going to be one of those that's going to be a filler, possibly. I think the only reason he probably got auto-qualified was because he's quite famous, isn't he? He's very famous, isn't he? And all the things he's done, you saw that in and everything else. So I'm not holding out much hope for this one, unfortunately. Still.
Okay, do you know what? I'm gonna do a clean sweep with my panelists on this. Let's get some more views around the room. Let's go to Alina.
Yes. The only thing I have to say is that I'm confused about the mic stand. Like, is it broken? What's wrong with it? Like, that's the only thing I remember. I remember from the song. But
I was going to say, I'm just thinking of a 3-minute performance with the lights, the red jacket, and everything, and you picked up on a broken mic stand.
Like, and I don't think it's gonna win, but like the mic stand is. I mean, I will talk about it for years to come. Like, who comes up on that? Like, let's put a mic stand who's like broken. Let's play with it. Like, It reminded me of something else, let's just be honest.
And to be fair, a broken mic stand, I think, or is a broken mic really that worked well for Freddie Mercury, but I don't really think there's much of a comparison to be made there between the two on that. Let's go to Ian and Donna.
It's bad when you get upstaged by your own mic stand, isn't it?
It did look like he was having a boxing match with it, though. So
that whole bit also kind of betrayed us the how heavy the backing vocal. The vocals on the track were, because he was on and off the mic quite a lot, and we still heard all the song. So, but no, I think it was a bit of a. It wasn't my favorite song going in, but I think it was a bit messed up. I think Maris is right. It does need more. It probably needs dancers. I think it's not just him and his strange mic stand. Yeah,
we could have borrowed a few of the dancers that other songs didn't need and stuck them into this one, I think. And yeah, obviously Elliot, I agree. Those pants with that background, no, absolute no. Yeah, lose the stand, lose the trousers. But he did sell it. He just needs a bit more.
Just lose them or alternative trousers.
Oh well, just lose them. That'll be fine. You might have to have something else underneath it.
It's one way around it, isn't it? Now, Elliot, what are the chat rooms saying about this?
Well, the chat room, we've got comments saying he kind of pictured Mons performing this song, which I can see it does kind of feel like a Mons Zilmalo song. And he's saying he's such a cool guy, but it was missing dancers, to which Gustav agreed. But I think he's also just distracted by how good looking he thinks Alta Pettersson is. But he is also a big fan of Alina, just because of that. And this as well. And if you need a compilation video, I am more than happy to do it.
Hey, that's what we like to hear. Now, panel, get ready, because I'm about to ask you guys if you think the right song won tonight. Should it have been Kim? Should it have been one of the other three? Don't forget, guys, sat there in the chat, you can also vote. Menti.com, 1078 53 6. You've got about 3 minutes to vote on this. I'm going to sweep around the panel now. Let's go to Joe.
Do you have to ask Alderdie for me?
Elliot.
Kim, out shadow of a doubt for me.
Ian and Donna.
Kim by a country mile.
Yeah, although I still have a soft spot for Alderdie. The actual performance of Kim was so stunning. How could you not say?
It was flawless.
Marios.
Without a question, and you know what this means. I don't have to wear pink.
Ah, yes. Fiddlesticks. I'm sure we can come up with something next week. We'll come up with some other way to kind of work that in. I'm sure we can. And Alina.
Yeah, Kim Fisher, he's golden, like gold.
Now, in a moment, we are going to find out how you voted. But in the meantime, this is a good opportunity to tell you to hit the like and subscribe button to find out about all our fantastic content on the channel. And most recently, we've got posted up on the channel is an interview that Elliot conducted last week with Terence James, who represented France in the national final last weekend. Sadly, he didn't win. That went to Barbara Praby. But do you know what? Let's take a sneak peek.
This is Terence James, and you are watching ESC Fan TV.
I thought everyone had great performances. The staging was really good for all the songs. It went really well, honestly.
So how did it feel for you when you got told, right, you're song 6, and then Barbara Praby is song 7, knowing that, she was the big favourite going in?
I think Barbara deserved to win. It's a beautiful song, just it. Because the French language is very poetic. So things come across sometimes too poetic. And sometimes when you write a song in English, and if you do a direct translation, it just wouldn't work. It just sounds a bit, it's not cool. He loves it. That's why I'm a huge fan. I think it's such a happy competition. Everyone's just happy, and everyone loves it, and there's so much good energy. And after the year we've all spent in lockdown, and I mean, you guys are still in lockdown in the UK. I think if I could, I've said from the beginning, if I can help bring a little bit of joy to as many people as possible, I'll sleep well at night and I'll be a happy man. So,
what would you like to say to everyone who supported you through these last few weeks?
I would say thank you guys so much. It's been overwhelming, the amount of support that I've received from everyone. I've got so many.
Hey, and you can watch that live on YouTube. You could even do it after the show if you wanted. And I know Elliot is posting the link into the chat room as we speak, so people can bookmark that. Now, guys, you have been voting. Let's get some results in. Now, this is where it could all go horribly wrong, because it is Stu that normally actually does this, who's having a night off. A night off, I ask you. Now, let's have a look. Here we go. Here is our vote. Let's hover down. Let's close our voting. Voting is now closed. And the results are... Oh, it's a close vote, guys. So we have Kim, My Lonely Voice, 102 points. And then in second place, we've got Out to Die with 95 pages. Then on 89, and then a long way in the distance, shall we say, a long way in the distance, comes Ryan with Circus. Oh, do you know what? I swear every week, this is almost like a unanimous thing that everyone seems to agree that the right song went through, I think. Just saying, people do think that the right song went through. It's not like we ever think any different on this show. Now, so pulls down the curtain on another show. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central European time. Once we've all had a chance to catch up on tonight's Melfest, we're going to have the panel dissecting that one and finding out what we liked, what we didn't like, and whether we think the right song the right songs should have gone through to the final. And even did the right songs get Andra Chanson. And I can talk about this with no bias whatsoever, because I've not even seen it myself yet. So that's us back 9 p.m. tomorrow night. I'd like to thank everyone in the chat room for chattering away to us all this evening. And also, let's say a big thank you to my panel as well. Big thanks to Alina.
Thanks for having me, and see you tomorrow.
Big thanks to Marios.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Big thanks to Ian and Donna.
Bye, guys. See you next time.
See you next time.
Big thanks to Joe.
Thank you. See you soon, everyone.
And a big thanks to Elliot, who's been monitoring those chats as if his life depended on it.
Thank you, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for Melfest. Thank you for not spoiling it in the chat as well. And yeah, well done to our host as well, Tom. You managed. Stuart's not here and the wheels did not fall off the bus.
Yet, there is still the closing titles to go. Don't forget, catch Elliot's interview with Terence James whilst you're in that Eurovision lull tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be rubbish and we're in lockdown anyway. And we'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central European time to dissect Melfest. And until then, it's bye for now.